You decided to use the Switch Pro controller for Smash. You take it to your local scene, you play your set, having a good time, and suddenly you hear the TO shouting, "Who has a Pro controller? Unpair your Pro controller." And in just a matter of seconds, you have half the venue hunting you down. If this has ever been you, or you know someone who's gone through this, or maybe you want to bring a Pro controller to a tourney but don't want this situation to even be a possibility, well, keep watching. I'm going to show you how you can avoid that entire scenario and still get to use the Pro controller. Now, let's talk about how to unpair your Pro controller. Normally, what most people do is you use your phone, you got your smartphone, go to your Bluetooth settings, enter pairing mode, put your Switch Pro controller in pairing mode, and then you connect your Switch Pro controller back to your phone, and this basically desyncs it from whatever setup you were on. Now, you could do that after every single set, or you can follow this trick and not have to worry about that, and it's just desyncing your controller is as simple as unplugging your controller, just like the GameCube controller. The secret is remove the battery from your Pro controller, and I'll show you how to do it here in just under a couple minutes. Don't worry, you don't need knowledge of motherboards or soldering irons or anything like that. All you need is a standard Phillips head screwdriver and a little can-do attitude. So, how do you do it? There's 3 total pieces you have to remove. You got the 2 grips and then the back plate. So you start off by removing the 2 grips, unscrewing the screw at the bottom of the controller, and they slide right off. And I took the one off this before just to speed this up. So once you have the grips off, you will have access to the other 4 screws that hold the back plate in place. One here, one here, one here, and one here. Same screwdriver. You don't need a tri-wing or anything like that. Same Phillips head screwdriver. And you unscrew those 4. Don't lose your screws now. And once you have the screws off, the back plate just comes right off. And now this exposes the battery. How do you take the battery out? It's simple. There's a little overhanging here on the battery. You just put your fingernail over and you lift it up. That's all there is to it. Get that out of here. And you just got to put it back together. So again, back plate. Screw that bad boy back on. Again, we're going to pretend I did 4. Just trying to speed it up for you guys. Another side note too is these are interchangeable, so if you have multiple Switch Pro controllers, different colors like the Splatoon or the Smash or the Xenoblade one, you could swap these out freely just to give yourself a little customization. I put the white ones from the Smash controller on my Xenoblade controller to kind of give me call it my Mithra controller. It's kind of what it reminds me of. And that's it. Once you got those screwed on, you're good to go. No battery in your controller. See, no lights. We can't stay paired to anything that's not plugged in, so all you have to do is make sure you got your USB-C cable with you. You can use the one that came with your controller provided by Nintendo, or you can jump on Amazon and buy yourself a nice 10-footer. It doesn't matter. Pretty much any USB-C cable will work. Another thing to note is the USB ports on the Switch dock. Usually 2 of them are taken up by the GameCube controller adapter. And so there's 1 of 2 things you can do. You can either open the back plate and plug it into the back of the dock, the 3.0 port, or if you want to avoid that, you can ask your opponent if they need rumble. If they don't need rumble, you can unplug the gray USB cable, because that's all it handles, is just the rumble, and then you can plug your controller in that port on the side. And as long as the black one's plugged in, they can still use the GameCube controller with everything but rumble. And yeah, another cool thing about having this is, what are the benefits of the Pro controller? I like having the extra button here. I can map this to jump so that I have 2 jump buttons with different fingers so that I can get the guaranteed short hop that was just patched in without having to do the short hop aerial method. You can also have 2 shield buttons, so you can shield shuffle without having to give up any extra buttons. I don't know, it's just more comfortable for me. Maybe it's more comfortable for you, comfort subjective. Or maybe you just don't have a GameCube controller, it's out of stock wherever you're at and you can't find one and all you have is the Pro controller. Well, this is how you would do it. Your local scene will love you for it because you don't have to have them chase you down every time you're done with a set and forget to unpair your controller. And at the end of the night, all you got to do is unscrew it again, take it off, put the battery back in, or if you have a second one, you can just save one of your controllers for wired use only to take to tournaments and then just use the other one at home. That's kind of what I do here. Another cool thing about having the Pro Controller is, you do have access to the home button. Most tourney setups don't have any Joy-Cons attached to the Switch, so if you need to change something like, the screen size, sometimes when they're connected to those monitors, they're not using the full width of the monitor, so being able to access the settings menu with the home button is kind of helpful. And yeah, that's it. You don't need the wired communication in the Switch's menu turned on, though you can enable it. I believe it makes the latency a little less, though I'm not sure. I haven't tested that. But yeah, that's all you got to do. Just take the battery out, and you can use your Switch Pro controller at your local scene without annoying half the venue. So spread the word. Anybody you know uses Pro Controller, show them the video so that they can hopefully get some use out of this. Zero.exe signing out.